Yo, what's up, y'all? I appreciate y'all for being here with us, whether you're rocking with us on Facebook or YouTube. I appreciate you tuning into our video. Today, we're going to be giving a little testimony about how we met. Hopefully, not a super long video. Really just to explain like how we came together and how God was leading us both into marriage and preparing us for it separately. Actually, today is my wife's birthday, so if you have a chance, I appreciate you just give her a happy birthday shout out in the comments. I greatly appreciate it. You would give me cool points with her and stuff, and so I would greatly appreciate that. So yeah, we're just gonna hop straight into it. So I actually met Faith back in 2015, and I got connected to her through my godfather. I call him Frank, but I'm calling him Mr. Tootle on this video, just out of respect. But yeah, so Mr. Tootle introduced me to her back in 2015, and pretty much invited me out to his church. And I remember I went out there and I saw a young lady singing a song, and I just felt like really drawn to her. And I was like, man, I want to get to know this person. So I remember I went home after that service, and I prayed, and I was just like, hey God, I had went through so many things as far as I guess getting connected to young ladies and it not working out, and I was like, kind of got to the point where I was like, God, I only want to do it if it's your will. So I remember I went home that night and I prayed, and I was like, God, this is something that you want me to pursue. I pray that you would just have Frank come up to me during work and just be like, hey, I want you to meet this young lady. So I prayed that. Then very next day when I went to work, he came up to me. He's like, hey, I want to talk to you about something. And I was just like, what's up? What do you want to talk about? He's like, I'll tell you at the end of the shift. So I was like, all right. So I was like anxious throughout the shift, and I was like, man, I can't wait. So I went to him during the shift. I work at UPS, and back then I was a sorter. So I went to him during the shift, and I was like, hey, what do you want to talk about? And he's like, he was beating around the bush at first, but then he was like, I want to introduce you to Faith. So long story short, I was like, cool. I took that as confirmation, and not long after that, I tried shooting my shot. And so now I'm gonna pass it to Faith so she can talk about that experience.
During that time, I had decided that I wanted to focus more on myself. And also during that time, it had been about a year since I had lost my grandmother, so I was kind of in an interesting headspace. But he shot his shot, and I wanted to go out with him for, what was it, tea or just a drink, hot beverage, something like that. But I ended up deciding not to. One, because I was a bit fearful, and I just thought it was way too soon, because literally the fall of that year, 2015, I decided and been in prayer about, just waiting for God's man. And I'm like, no, surely this guy walking up to me is not him. And actually, I wasn't really attracted to him at that time. I didn't find him attractive until years later.
Oh man, it's a cold world. Oh man.
But he looked a little different back then. He looked more younger.
Yeah.
I was about to say adolescent.
It was the beard. That's really what it was. I grew the beard.
And the hair.
That's once I grew the beard and I got the fade, it was over. It's like that Mike Jones song. Back then they didn't want me. Now I'm hot. They all on me. So yeah, I had shot my shot, and
Was it two times with months in
I
between?
I might have. You know what I'm saying? I've never been, afraid to shoot that shot. So I shot my shot twice, and it did not work out, and so we actually didn't end up reconnected until 3 years later in 2018. And I'm gonna be honest with y'all, Facebook or YouTube, I was not patiently waiting during that time. I was shooting other shots as well. I was really just trying to find the one that I want to be with. I was taking that period of my life seriously, as far as like I've known since a young age, that I wanted to get married, and I've known that I wanted to be with the right person. So I wasn't just out here like wild and out, or like dating every single person. But if I found someone that I felt like had the same values as me, I was willing to make that attempt to take the relationship further. So in 2018 we reconnected, and that's a funny story too, because at that time I was staying with my godfather, the same dude that connected us in the first place. And I remember he woke me up one morning and he was just like, "Hey, Carlton, I need your help with moving the dresser." So I was like, "All right, bet." I got out of bed, threw some clothes on. We were on the way over there, and he's like, "Oh yeah, by the way, we helping Faith move this." And I was just like, "Oh."
That's just like him.
Yeah. I was like, "Oh man." I was like, "You could have given me some type of warning." And so, I'm like mentally preparing myself as I'm on the way to help her out. And I'm just like, when you get out of this car, let's stand up straight. We gonna have our shoulders back.
He did just that.
Yeah, I was like, we gonna, not gonna let her see us sweat. We just gonna handle the business, go home. Cause I didn't know what to expect, and so I'm gonna pass it to you on that, so you can finish that story.
Okay, so Mr. Tootle and him helped move the dresser, and as he was leaving, he asked me, "So how you been?" And I gave him an inaudible answer, and then I said, "What was it, okay?" or something like that, because a lot was going on at the time. Actually, in between the time we first met in 2018 and 2018, my grandfather passed away and my mom passed away. So that was a lot to deal with at the time. So that's one of the reasons why I gave that answer. But anyway, he got in the truck with Mr. Tootle to leave, and I looked at Mr. Tootle. I don't know why I didn't look at him. I kind of like looked past him, but I looked at Mr. Tootle, and I asked him to give Carlton my phone number. And Carlton, he just had this look on his face, like looking straight ahead. He didn't look at me, but he just looked straight ahead. Yeah. And like, what's a good word?
I was just shocked. Like, it was one of those moments. I was like, "What?" Like,
it was hilarious.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that at all. In fact, like when I got out of the car, I was expecting her to be a little standoffish. And so when she was like, talking to me and stuff like that, I didn't really. It took a while for me like gain my words and figure out what I was gonna say.
He was looking fine though. I was like, ooh.
Yeah, now they say that. Yeah, that was fine. But so got her number and we started talking. I guess texting each other, and we kind of went through a lot during that period. In fact, we went from texting each other to emailing.
You can get a lot through an email though.
Yeah, it was kind of like our way of writing. And so, like I said, or like she said, during that time, she was going through a lot. Her, three people close passing to her, or passed away. Her grandma, grandfather, and her mom. So, I kind of came in knowing like things weren't gonna be like really easy, and she kind of had a lot of walls up. I compared her to Fort Knox, like just nothing was getting in. So I was just trying to like prove myself that like I didn't have like impure motives. So that took a while to prove, and we had to go through a lot of ups and downs.
I had trust issues,
Yeah,
deep trust issues.
yeah. Do you want to go into detail about that?
So around the time that Carlton and I were emailing, we went from texting to emailing. That's kind of odd, but there was a lot going on during that time. I was living in a very toxic household. I moved from my mother's house. I was actually evicted. A lot happened. I went through a season of depression. It was hard to keep a job. So, if you can't work and you can't pay bills, then guess what happens? A lot of the times you're put out of your home. So, I was evicted from my mom's house. So, Carlton and Mr. Tootle were helping move a dresser from there. And I ended up moving in with a friend and her father. And the atmosphere, it seemed okay to begin with, just in the household. But after some time passed, it became very toxic. And during that time, Carlton actually became confident. It's like at that time, I had really no problem sharing what I was experiencing in the household, and just being in that environment. I'm not going to go into great detail, but just being in that environment, it was spiritually draining, mentally draining, and physically and emotionally draining. And I didn't see a way out. I was going through a what was the word you used back then? Despair. That's a good word to describe the situation. So, I ended up talking to him on a regular basis, and even in discussing what I was experiencing, he kept me in prayer. He kept me encouraged. He showed himself to be a good support system, a godly friend, and just a beautiful person overall. Why are you laughing? Is he beautiful? Beautiful.
We might have to edit that out.
No, we're not. We're going to keep it in there.
Anyways, so watch talking about I'm beautiful. That was not easy by any means, and felt like at that time, like every fiber in my being was like, yo, you just need to like close the door on this. But I always had like that confirmation that I look back on my past, like, man, I mean, when Frank told me like, yo, you should pursue it after I prayed. So I just like, it was hard for me to close the door, like, cause there were parts of me that I was just like, man, like this just not working out. Cause during that process, like I was reaching out and felt like I kept on getting shut down, and then she was like in a toxic environment, and there's a lot of manipulation that was going on as well. So it was just like it took a while before we even started linking up. Like we probably texted and emailed for like
months.
Yeah.
So it's from October till
We
it
didn't-
was chilly outside. We walked around the neighborhood,
so I don't think our first time
like going out.
yeah.
April 1st.
Okay, and then like we didn't go out again until like July.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So it was like a long process. At least it felt like that for me. I know it probably doesn't sound like that long, but you know when you
Wait, no. It was we spent time together before July. There was some time in between.
how
At the car lot. I believe so. And then I
Yeah,
started going
I
to
think-
church with you every other Sunday.
I think that was like towards like the latter end though, cause like before then like it wasn't good. So I actually like remember having conversations with my friends. Like they kind of really helped see me through. So I thank God for my brothers, cause like I was like venting like, man, I keep trying and like it don't seem like it's working out. And then I remember my homie Denzel, I believe he said something like pretty much like, yo, she's the only girl that's like gonna work out with you anyways. So
Oh my gosh.
she's like, this is the only girl you've been able to connect with, Carlton, over these years. So you might as well go ahead and try to make it
Oh
work.
wow, that sounds terrible.
Yeah. So I was like, yeah, you're right. Like I don't really got like a lot of options out here. So you know, I kept on persevering. So like really like what it boiled down to, you want to be like really really real, or do you want to like not be really real? Because I was going to talk about how like we got over that hump.
You can talk about it.
Alright, so pretty much like the way that things started working out together was it came down to her like seeing that I was trustworthy. And I remember one day she texted me and she was just like, hey, you know, I want to talk to you about something. And I'm not going to put your business out there like that, but she's like, hey, I want to talk to you about something. I was like, all right, bet. When she sent me that text, I automatically knew what it was. It felt like something just downloaded, like this is what she's going to talk to you about, right? So I remember we get to the car lot and she's like kind of beating around the bush. She's like, hey, you know, she talked about something completely different. And I was like, she's pretty much sharing a side of me or a side of her that she didn't want anybody else to know. And so I remember I was like, what? Like I thought you wanted to talk about, or I was just like, what? Like I was like, are you sure that's all you want to talk about? And she said, yeah. So she's like, what did you think I want to talk about? And I said, I figured you want to talk about such and such. And she ended up saying, she's like, yeah, you're right. And she came clean to what she was going through at that time. And so at that point in time, what she told me hit me heavy. And I was just like, wow, you know, even though I already had like that inclination where I knew what it was, just actually knowing like, yo, this is the truth and reality, it really hit me hard. So like I had a choice where like, yo, like you either going to love this person, accept them for who they are, you know, or you're gonna move on. And so, you know, of course I chose, I was like, yo, I'm just gonna accept her. And I chose to just love her really. And
I felt that.
yeah, so I really chose to just like push past everything. And like I said, it wasn't really easy. So if anything, like my like pursuit of her is really showing me like God's love for us, how he really cares about us, and what he goes through to even love us, like the sacrifice that he had to make on Calvary, everything that he did, dying for our sins, being whipped, bruised. Like, I know what I went through is nowhere near as close, but I got like that. Uh,
Revelation.
yeah, I got that understanding of like what real love is, and love isn't like real pretty all the time. Sometimes love is really, it can be messy, and you see people for who they are, and you might not like everything that you see, but it takes maturity to really move past that, and I think it takes humility. So that's one of the things that I really learned during that season, and I'm still learning. Even in marriage, is just how to walk in humility with my wife, and make sure that I treat her right, and just love on her really, which, like I said, ain't like peaches and roses all the time. Like I said, a lot of times it can be hard, but I believe it's worth it in the end. You have anything else you want to share?
I knew that once I connected with him, I was gonna have to be fully transparent. I knew that through this process, sanctification was gonna come. I knew that I was going to have to bear all and truly face everything. And I am very thankful for that. I knew it immediately. Sometimes it would take me a while to share things, but I knew that those things were going to come through this relationship. The moment, it was at that time we walked around the neighborhood. We walked around the neighborhood, and he really just shared his intentions and how he, tried to ask other ladies out and stuff like that. And you said that night, I tried to talk to other girls, and I keep coming back to you, and I was like, really? I was like, okay, like that really caused me to think. But from that moment on, I knew that there was gonna need to be a change within me, because I knew that if he was here for a relationship, a God-fearing relationship, and ultimately marriage, and if I knew that there was going to be a future with him, I was going to share it all. And so I'm very thankful for that revelation, because I feel like sometimes when you don't have the appropriate relationships, a lot of things aren't dealt with. And through that, there isn't healing, and there isn't deliverance. So I'm just very, very thankful that God paired us together. He's truly a blessing. Is there anything else you wanted to share?
My wife is a blessing. Can't. Yeah. I don't know. I'm very grateful for my relationship as well. I believe a lot of growth has come from this, and it's just really shown me what it takes to really be a man. It's a lot of sacrifice, and it's a lot of denying yourself. And I'm grateful to God for preparing me for this relationship. I believe one of the ways that he did that is through my church community, and my relationships with my bros, because that really kind of gave me the guidelines of like what it takes to be in right relationships with others. And so that's one of the things I think I would end off with saying is like, one of the ways or guidelines for you to tell whether you're ready to take that step for a marriage is just through your relationships with others. And if you have healthy relationships, if you're able to like show love to people and deny yourself for other people, not being selfish. I think selfishness and pride has like destroyed so many relationships, even within my life. Like it's probably like some relationships that I could probably still be in now if I chose to, I guess, humble myself and do the right thing and not put myself above others. And so that's kind of like what on it. I guess what we can end it on. I don't know if this video was good or not, but
It's not about whether it was good or not. It's our testimony.
yeah, facts.
What about our dating period? We want to talk about that?
We probably dated from like, I think our first, like she became my girlfriend actually around this time last year. And so
Yesterday would have made a year if we were still dating.
yeah, so we dated from like, I guess, or we had like that title of boyfriend girlfriend from July to like November, and then I proposed to her. Or was it October I proposed?
You kind of wanted to get married October 1st. You kind of wanted to get married October 1st. We talked about it. And then
Yeah, so we got married and we ended up getting married in December, and that I wouldn't necessarily advise that. Like I said, I'm very grateful for marriage and stuff like that, but I definitely feel like we rushed it. And looking back on it, I would have planned things out, had a wedding, and all different types of stuff. But we were just so excited, and we kind of got just caught up in the whirlwind. When you're in love with someone, you're infatuated with that person. It's like they're like the only person you can think about and stuff like that. So I think we kind of got caught up in that. But I'm grateful that we were able to like get married, and we was able to do things the right way. Do things the holy way. So grateful for that. Anything else?
So what he means by the right way and the holy way is, you want to share about the?
I mean, you were just sharing. So.
Okay. He was celibate for 6 years.
Oh, I don't know if I want to put that out there. Yeah. That's kind of OD.
It's really not, because there are many people out there who are celibate.
Yeah, I guess. Man, just threw that out there.
Yep.
All right.
No need to edit this out.
God bless. God bless America.
So he was celibate for 6 years, and I found that very, very, very interesting. Because the guys I had encountered in the past,
first off, it wasn't easy.
I know.
Second off, some of it was God and keeping me, and then I think I wasn't perfect. You know what I'm saying? There was a lot of pornography going on during those 6 years, but keep on going.
Same here. We both had that struggle. Yeah. So he was celibate for 6 years, and I was actually a virgin when we got married.
Yeah.
That was interesting.
Yeah.
But
yeah, so that's pretty much it. Appreciate y'all for rocking with us. A lot of this is probably going to get edited, and we will see what the final cut looks like. But we love y'all. Appreciate y'all for rocking with us. I plan on posting a video like once a month, but I was talking to my cousin and she was saying I should do it like at least every 2 weeks. So I don't know. We'll see. I feel like that's a lot, but we'll see. Whatever God leads us to do, we'll keep the ball moving. So yeah, love y'all. Love, peace, hair grease.
Love, peace, and hair grease.